So I think this is literally the most important operational concept that you need to understand in 2025. Like if you don't understand anything else about operations, this is the thing that you need to understand. And everybody's talking about AI for productivity and how it can make you more productive. But in Weekend, in my eight-figure agency that I'm an advisor in now, I found that 27%, and it was actually much higher than that, but I have the number here lower, so it's believable. That my team's capacity was hidden. And here's how to uncover it. And it's so simple. Watch your team work. I mean, literally watch them work. And you can do this one of two ways. You can do it through number one, hopping on a Zoom call with them and watching them work. Or number two, if it's a long process, you can have them record their day. And then what you can do is analyze that footage at like 2 to 3 times speed. And you will be amazed, like blown away, amazed at what you find. And probably a little bit pissed if you've never watched your team work before of how much waste there is in their day and how much additional capacity you're going to be able to find. But when you watch the footage, here's the key information that you want to gather. Number one, the time spent on each task. So how long is this person actually taking to do the task? Number two, the total time to complete their process. Because oftentimes they have multiple tasks that they're doing to complete their part of a process. Number three, the number of software switches between ClickUp and Google Sheets and Slack and all these other places that are wasting time. Number four, the frequency of clarification requests between team members because you don't have all of what you need up front to actually do the work. Number five, the frequency of clarification requests to clients because you didn't get the information you needed in onboarding, but you didn't get it in the client brief that was prepared. Number six, time spent waiting for anything, just waiting. And you'll just see it. Like their mouses won't be scrolling or it'll be scrolling a little bit. They'll be in Slack saying something and you're like, what are they doing for 10 minutes? And it's like, oh, they're just waiting for people to respond to them, which is obviously not an effective use of their time. Any blockers or inconsistencies. So if you're seeing they're constantly having the same thing that's stopping them from doing work or that they can't get over, like note that down or any inconsistencies. And then anything generally that you think is a part of this process that you can just delete and remove and save time and save energy and save effort. And then what you want to do once you've written all this down is draw it out. So draw out the current processes using Miro, and they'd be like, number one process, this is what we do. Here's how much time it takes. Here's all the blockers that I saw. Here's some things that I noticed. And then step two, here's the process. And then you can do that for the whole process. So literally just draw it out in Miro or similar software. Number two, present your understanding of the current state. Number two, present your understanding of the current state. So team, I watched you for 4 hours and this is what I found. Here is what I drew out to represent the current process. What do you think we can do to improve it? And then let them answer. Number four, ask the team, how can we get you 100% of what you need up front to remove clarifications between yourself and other team members and yourself and the clients? And then note all that information down. And then guide them further because you saw the whole process as well. What if we did this? How could we accomplish this? What if we change this? And if you've never done this before, I guarantee you, you'll find at least 30% hidden capacity minimum because your team, if you've never looked at this process, they're doing so many things that don't matter, that never mattered, but you've never looked at the process to help them fix it. And I would prioritize changes in this order. Anything that's recurring and has a time-saving impact. Because if it's recurring and you shave 10 or 15% off the process, that means you just saved 10 to 15% of that person's time because it constantly recurs. Number two, anything that has a positive effect on client outcomes. If you're taking a look at an email delivery process or a creative delivery process, like anything that's going to have a positive effect on the client, like we want to make sure that we prioritize those changes. Number three is anything that reduces the lead time of the process. And the lead time is the total time that it takes to do a process, including waiting. So while it might only take an hour to actually create an email between strategy, copy, and design, putting it into Klaviyo, it might take 3 weeks to actually deliver it to the client between all the back and forth that you have with them and approvals and waiting. And we want to decrease the lead time so that we can respond to our customers faster. And then the last one is anything that increases the quality of the process. Anything that's going to create a better output or better performance for the client. And I would say if any of those things above actually decrease the quality of the process or the performance of the process, you should not do it, because quality is the most important thing. And by quality, that could be the quality of output or the quality of performance. That is the most important thing to your client, because you sold them on, I'm going to do this thing for you. And if you decrease quality, you're less likely to reach that outcome. So optimizing operations isn't sexy, but this is how you actually scale an agency. So start watching your team.